Composting is an integral part of sustainable gardening. When plants grow, they take up nutrients from the soil, and when they die, they return the nutrients to the soil, thus completing the cycle. That's the process we know as composting. Hi, my name is June. I'm a plant and gardening content writer living in Lagos. I'd like to share my plant care tips that I've gained from my experience as a gardener in a tropical climate. Today, I'd like to talk to you about composting. I don't do any scientific form of composting. Basically, what I try to do is just break down all my kitchen waste, most of my kitchen waste and garden waste. So kitchen waste that goes into my compost heap, peels like this. These are orange peels, these are plantain peels, tea leaves, all these are former plant material. What doesn't go into compost is animal fat, animal material. Okay, I don't put that into composting or into my compost at all. So my garden waste will be all my leaves like this from dead plants. I don't put diseased plants in my compost. What I want to do today is to look into this container that I had dropped some decomposing material into for several months now to see how much it has decomposed, and if it's ready, I'm going to use that material or use the compost to plant my vegetable garden. It's the compost I use to plant my spinach. This spinach has been growing here for several months now. I've actually taken the first harvest out of it. Usually it grows with bigger leaves when I plant it the first time. These are the average size of leaves that I get. I've harvested. I'm going to cut this up and then replant my spinach. This is an empty sack. I'm going to drop this material into this sack. I'm going to first of all take this out and see what has composted or how much it has composted. This is a sack that contains some composting material. I think I'll start by taking this first and putting it into the sack so that I can clear the space. I should actually shred this, so let me put this here so that it can be shredded later. Shredding will just break it down faster. This is some cardboard. I think I would put the cardboard in here. I dropped this cardboard a few weeks ago on top. So it's actually sort of layered because I had dropped the main material, the main waste into this container several months ago, and I just topped it up with cardboard just a few weeks ago. That's because actually I had the cardboard and I wanted to use it in the compost, so I put it just over it, knowing that I would take it off and to be able to access. I have insects here. Looks horrible, but insects are actually important for the environment because they help break down the bigger plant material. Without insects, we will have no food. So don't be disgusted. As long as you don't get into your home and cause a nuisance, insects are actually good for our environment. Okay, so I have someone to help me dig this up now with a shovel so I can put it and start to use. Hi, so here's my compost, Plants in Tropical Spaces compost. The waste has been completely broken down and this is really rich compost. You can see some material here, eggshells, and eggshells wouldn't completely break down actually. So what I could do is sieve this and so that the bigger particles will not be in the soil if I was to use that in my indoor plants, but because I'm using it outdoors principally, I wouldn't bother to do the sieving. I'll just let it continue to happen because it's really rich. Okay, so it's taken several months to break down to this stage because I don't do anything in particular to hasten the breakdown process. I just let nature take its course. I mean, we saw insects in there helping to break down the material. If I wanted to make that faster, I would have to do the proportions of the nitrogen and the carbon materials, but I don't have the time for all of that. That's lazy me. So what I'm going to do now is take these materials in these bags that are partially decomposed. I've been piling up my kitchen and garden waste in these bags for the past several months now, so they're partially decomposed, but I'm going to pour them into this container. In that process, I'm also aerating the materials, so it's just my own way of sort of turning the compost as I do that, and I will leave this now for several months, and perhaps with the help of this video recording it would enable me know how long it's actually taking to break down. Okay, so let's go. Earthworms are also helpful in the composting process because they eat up the plant material. So I'm taking the pieces. Let me have that. This is I'm not sure. Okay, so I have groundnut shells here. I think about 2 years ago I just started collecting the shells of the groundnuts I ate. I thought that it would add nitrogen, but take quite a while to decompose. So we have air pockets in our compost or composting material that would also help to speed up the composting. Next, I'm going to add the paper that I took out from the first bit. Oh no, maybe I shouldn't put that next. Since I have this, what I should add will be some green materials. Bear in mind, I'm not following any proportion. I'm just using what I have. So I have some fresh green materials. These are plants, dead plants, kitchen waste. Here. So the next thing I want to do, this bag looks like it's ready to go into this area. I'm bold, I'm fearless. I shall not be surprised. Interesting. This is, I should have labels and stuff, but this has partially decomposed already. So, well, it's going to make it faster. It's interesting. This, I mean, it actually looks like cocoa peat, but it's not. It's compost from my materials. So, you've seen it. I think this is good to go. We will wrap this up here and then start using this compost. Okay, so I want to find out what's going on in this container. I had done something similar to what I had done in that container. I put the composing material down there and then used it as a stand to lift up the spinach. So I'm going to find out how far it has decomposed. Now let's lift it up. All right. Okay. So, right. Okay, so let's have the shovel and see how far this has decomposed. This is still very quite dry. So we're getting into the rainy season. I think it's going to get more moisture, so I'm just going to leave this for now. I won't use this. Maybe what I'll do is that I'll pour some water into it and then I won't use it yet. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is very dry and I think I have the perfect solution for it. I have some cardboard that I soaked in water a few days ago. I cut it up in pieces and then soaked it in water. The soaking in water was just to hasten the decomposition process. You know that cardboard is actually wood pulp. Paper is wood pulp, so it was former plant material. So I'm going to pour everything in here now. Oh, I actually had some plant material as well. So that's so look at the size of these leaves. I mean, this is all richly fed by the compost that I made earlier. So like I said before, I'm going to harvest this and then plant another batch of compost. The rains are coming, so that would really help to water the spinach. This is a set that I had planted earlier a few months ago. What really happened was that I was being very lazy, so I just buried what was there before. Like it was growing like that, I just cut it up and then buried it in soil and then just let it come back up. I mean, I think once you have spinach in the garden, it grows everywhere. Okay. Some arugula for salads in this container. I actually prepared this last year and I didn't use it, so it's all depleted now because weeds have grown in it. I'm going to use some of my compost from here to fill up this space to enrich the soil. So let's see how we can do this in a... I think I need to use something. Yep, and then start filling it. Okay, so I think that's okay. It's a nice thick layer of compost, but I'm going to have to sort of work it in to the soil that was there before. I mean, that's really dry soil, but just work this in. Something I forgot to mention about compost, in the composting process, compost doesn't smell. It's not meant to smell. If it smells, it's because something is out of proportion. So maybe you have too much of the green stuff, that's the leaves, and so you need to have more brown stuff. But I think that if you, without measuring it, you know, the way you generate your garden waste and kitchen waste, I think that those things just sort of fall into proportion. And then as long as you don't put in any animal remains, like fish or chicken or beef or anything that was once an animal, then your compost shouldn't smell. So it's actually possible to make your compost in your garden without disturbing the neighbors. Nobody knows I'm making compost here. But suppose when this video is out, everybody will want compost because now they know that I have compost. And you can see how I'm working it into the soil so that the dry part. So what's going to happen is that when I use this, it's when I water it or when it rains, the rain washes the nutrients from the top down towards the bottom to the roots, which is why it's important that I put the compost up rather than at the bottom. I mean, I could have filled the whole container with compost, that would have been fine as well, but then that might be a waste because it will just wash it out. So I'm going to plant my arugula seeds. This is the second or third attempt I'm making at this. I think I hope the seeds are still viable. I might have started by planting in smaller containers, smaller pots, but I'm taking a risk to do this now because the last time I put it in smaller pots, I was actually too lazy to transplant it after it sprouted and it died. So I'm going to take a risk to sow the seeds. These are the arugula seeds, very tiny seeds. Okay, so I'm going to try and just sprinkle them space it out. I think that should be okay. Yeah, because if each seed sprouts, or maybe I should just do a little bit more, just in case. If each seed sprouts, then that's a new plant, and I don't want to have too many in this space. Okay, so wish me luck that these seeds sprout and I have arugula to eat. Thanks for watching. So I hope you enjoyed this video. For more plants and gardening content, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram, and read my blog, plantsintropicalspaces.com. See you next time. Bye. This is my composting area. I make compost out of my kitchen waste and my garden waste, as well as with cartons like this, cartons using packaging materials. I don't throw them away. What I try to do is really reuse everything I have. I reuse as much as possible. So if I threw away these cartons, I mean, they would go into the bin and then waste disposal. I'm not sure how efficient our recycling is. In any case, if I can use the materials, why shouldn't I? They make very good compost, and that's what I use to feed the soil for my vegetables, also for my ornamental plants, the bigger plants. So, I really don't use any scientific method to compost it. I just let it decompose, let nature do its thing. Insects, worms, microorganisms. I'm not particular about the ratio. I just drop things, as for composting, it doesn't smell. Sometimes people ask about the smell. I mean, as you can see, I'm not feeling uncomfortable standing in this place, and that's because the materials I use, I don't use any meat or fish products. So it's vegetable peels. I mean, it's all here. Vegetable peels, and there's lots of vegetable peels. Fruit peels. Yeah, vegetable peels. All of that. Plantains. I eat a lot of plantains, bananas. I just add that leaf stalks, yam peels, potato peels. Certainly no meat, fish, nothing else. So and it just gradually decomposes, and then I use it. These cardboard materials are very good. I mean, this is such a waste to throw these away. So I put them in my compost. So tear them up. They would eventually degrade. I mean, if I had the energy or the equipment, I would shred them further so that they can degrade faster, but I don't have that, so I just let it take its course. I mean, so something I think you can try out too. It doesn't smell, so don't be afraid of introducing new smells, as long as you don't have any high nitrogen, protein, meat products, meat or fish products. You should be fine. So yesterday, I trimmed these trees so that I could get more light in, and I've not cleared it up yet, and that's why I needed to actually sort out that area so I could drop this. I need to dry them up before we shred them. I'll show you what the shredded branches look like, and then what I use them for. So this is it when it's shredded. So this is shredded stuff. I have a bit of this palm the palm from the front of the house in it, but this is shredded. So it's very good. I use it in my soil mix. I use garden soil for my garden. So I use this in the soil mix to lighten the soil, and I mix it with charcoal to wake up alocasia culms. So it adds that much needed aeration so that the culms don't rot, and then the charcoal helps with the drainage as well. So it's a very good material to use for waking up culms. So that's it.